Hello, hello, I'm the official name raider. We're back, and it's time for Sinnoh. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at the grass starter, Turtwig, Grotle, Torterra. I, for whatever reason, doubted myself. So the concept of a turtle carrying the world on its back isn't necessarily original or new, like we've seen it a lot of times. So we're probably going to be seeing a bunch of references. I don't know this, I've never read it, never heard of it, but I'm going to acknowledge it and say, yeah, that's fine, moving on. Chia Pet, also just going to acknowledge that and move on too. I don't think we've actually seen Babylon before, thinking about it. But if you wanted to use Babylon and throw it onto literally any grass type ever, that would be a good idea. So, back when I did the Bulbasaur episode and I wasn't quite sure the direction this channel was going to take, I hinted that I had Pangea saved as a nickname, but it wasn't for Bulbasaur, and one of the comments guessed that I would use it for Torterra. The answer is no, it's not Torterra, but it makes sense and I understand why people would come to that conclusion. I have no problem admitting it now, but me personally, I use it for Crustle. Unrelated, I'm not going to say this nickname is good, but I am going to say that, like, because the Spanish and Portuguese do not have localized names, I study Portuguese, I kind of want to eventually go through all the Pokemon and see what sort of stupid fan-made Portuguese names I could come up with. So I kind of like Arvuga. I don't really care for it, but like, I don't know, it caught my attention. Also, I'm just going to acknowledge Atlas because I've already seen it multiple times and I know I'm going to see it 1,000 more times. Typical mythology shit, you're going to see it all the time. This is one of those moments where, like, just take a minute. If you come up with this nickname and you think to yourself, hey, this is cool, what I want you to do is think about how many other things share this same name. No person in the entire fucking world is going to be like, Vermont, that's French for Green Mountain. They're going to think of the state of Vermont. Vermont, it's French for Vermont. Tree Rex we've seen, I think that was actually for Venusaur as well. So I guess the theme of this is, hey, if you watch the Venusaur episode, I don't have a problem with it. It's obviously not a dinosaur at all. It's a turtle, but whatever, it's worth acknowledging, I guess. Now, although I like this idea and I think it's cool, I don't think it fits Torterra in the slightest because it has zero relevance to a carrot. But if you can think of something that you think Pick or Pikmin would fit, feel free to let me know. I kinda like Globetrotter. I like the idea of it as a nickname, but I'm unsure how I feel about it for Torterra. I'd have to sleep on it, but I like it mostly just as a nickname and never seen it before. Now, normally when we talk about naming after towns, it's usually because it's the, let's say, Vermilion being Surge and Raichu, or Cerulean being Misty and Starmie, or something like that. The starters don't necessarily follow that, but I do feel like if you had to pick one, Twinleaf for Turtwig actually kind of works very well. Firstly, like, you know, the intro town is always going to be associated with the starters. It doesn't matter if you get in another town, you're always going to associate with the intro town. But also just because the name is befitting of a grass Pokemon, so I'm fine with that. I'll acknowledge this one just because Ninja Turtles. It's kind of obvious it's Ninja Turtles. I think by itself, I mean, I don't really care because Mikey's just some guy, but like, if you pair it with other turtle-based Pokemon, like let's say Torkoal or Blastoise, firstly, that'd be a cool, fun idea for a team, and I want to see someone use that. But, I mean, it works better as a group. Some names work better as a group than they do by themselves. Toph, we've seen multiple times before. I'm fine with that. You want to throw it on whatever ground type or what all, that's totally fine too. Are you guys ready to lose some intelligence points? Because we're about to. Firstly, Torchwood is not a bad name. Personally, I think of Plants vs. Zombies, and if I'm not mistaken, that plant is actually named after something from Doctor Who. So, I'm fine with that as a nickname. I think his reasoning behind it is god-awful and doesn't fit. If they ever do something that would fit Torchwood as a Pokemon, then yeah, go ahead, use that, unless they've used it, which I personally doubt. Forest is dumb, Pterosaur, Terra, dumb. It reflects its dinosaur appearance. I've never seen a turtle before. I live in a box. Earthsheka, which is fucking stupid and the kind of fucking stupid you expect from him. Gurando, Japanese for ground. Foreign nicknames are a no-no. Woody, Toy Story, I don't care. Woody's Tectonic and Earthia, boring too. Tectonic a little less boring. Earthia just fucking stupid. You know, sometimes I find myself looking through and then I'm like, damn, I'm so glad I came up with a nickname myself, because these suggestions were very, very basic. I feel like after the first minute, we peaked. Like, that was it. Checking the spreadsheet real quick. Atlas we saw all the time. Gaia, which that's not even spelled the rest of the way, I saw that a fair bit too. I chose not to acknowledge it. Tortilla and Mountain Dew have fuck all to do with anything, but whatever. They're at least different. The Disco World thing was easily the most popular choice. Everybody's heard of that thing except for me, so that's the one everyone goes to. But in other words, like, it was a lot of the same shit. Me, personally, I named mine after Ryugu Island, the second world from Goemon's Great Adventure. And holy fuck, do I feel 1,000 times better about nicknaming my Torterra that, because firstly, that was the first thing that came to mind. I didn't regret it. I didn't have like that little, oh, I'm not sure, this feels too obvious kind of thing, because I was just like, fuck it, it fits, it's perfect. Like, it's the same concept as other things, but without being beaten to death. So, and it's from a game I think is pretty cool. Comment suggestions. On its own, I don't think Halberd's really all that special, but as a thematic thing, I'm fine with it, and considering this wasn't on Google, it makes me actually like it that much more, because congrats, you have your own original idea. And then we got more Godzilla references, and honest to God, wait, I did see Bonsai, I skipped over it. Whoops! Alright, well, I saw Bonsai at some point, I think on Pokemon.net, and I just kind of ignored it, but like, it's just a tree. Eventually we'll probably see a Professor Bonsai. And then Great Deku, which honestly I'm kind of surprised we didn't see that, because that just feels like a very obvious one as well. But for whatever reason it wasn't on there. We'll probably see it for like Trevenant or something. Pangea was another popular choice, but I mean, it was a lot of the same. Like, basically everything was there in the first minute, and then it kept getting recycled over and over and over again. Me personally, I'm not changing Ryugu for anything in the world. Hopefully this might have helped you a little bit. I think Twin Leaf was probably one of the best lesser popular choices. Like, that was one I only saw once, and I thought it was really good and simple, and it works well with Torterra. So that'd be the one I think I like the best out of everything I saw. Otherwise, any other suggestions you have that you haven't already submitted, because now we're going to have possible duplicates. Any other ideas or suggestions you have for Torterra, provide in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones that you think are good. And, I mean, not that the popular ones are bad, it just gets a little tiring sometimes seeing Atlas 50 times in a row.